this Rangoli reminds me of my Arangetram times. My rehearsals usually used to be early mornings at 6 o'clock. So I used to get up early, get dressed, put the Rangoli and then rush to class. So even now, each time I see the Rangoli, I am reminded of those days, when I would wait to rush to class after finishing the Rangoli. From the time I started learning dance, I wanted to do my Arangetram. So I don't know whether my parents brought up the subject or was it my gurus or me, I don't exactly remember. But all I remember was my parents went and spoke to Kirans sir and Sandhya auntie, and a date was fixed and we started practice. So before the day of my Arangetram, there was a function at home and my house was full of relatives and people. And I was so oblivious of the surroundings. I remember or I recollect all this only after my Arangetram. I was a central piece and everything is happening around me, and it was such an excitement on the day. So on the day I began with a Mallari followed by Rudram. Om Namaste Astu Bhagavan Vishveshwaraya. The thought itself, the music still resonates each time I think of it. It set the tone for the whole show. With Mahesh sir singing in the higher octave, my master in the medium octave, and Shri sir singing in the lower octave. It was a divine feeling, and so it started on that note. After that really divine start with the Mallari, I performed Pranamamyaham Shri Gauri Sutam, a Ganesha Kriti. Then we moved on to the central piece, Shri Krishna Kamalanatho in Riti Gaula. And learning Varnam was one of the most memorable experiences. I mean, that is something that I remember and cherish even today, because I think that was the first time a seed of Abhinaya or how to deal with particular characters. The way sir put it into my head, even today when I choreograph a Abhinaya piece or when I do anything related to Abhinaya, that is the first scene that comes into my mind. So there was this scene where Devaki is in jail and Vasudeva is chained and she develops labor pains. So sir was telling me, that Devaki is going through a stomach pain so whole, and then you're supposed to shout. Somehow he wasn't convinced with what I was doing. And then he had a phone call, so he went out for 2 minutes. This 2 minutes was like a huge gap for me, and I started practicing. I all sorts of fun overaction and was fully prepared. So by the time he came back and sat, I was fully prepared, and he said Kitta Takka, and then I put in whatever I could, and then I'm shouting, why not? He was taken aback, He was like, Sirisha, good. You have done it good. But I want you to imagine the way Devaki would have felt the pains and bring out that, not how you would respond to the situation. So that was the first time, I really started thinking about Abhinaya, where to hold back, how much to hold back, how much to give. And that experience has changed my perception towards Abhinaya. That's how the whole Varnam progressed, and it was very relatable, and the audience also enjoyed it a lot since his stories are so popular and every person can relate to it.
Jhanakutam, Takita Taka Jhanakutam, Taragadagadam, Takita Taka Jhanakutam, Taragadagadam, Takita Taka Jhanakutam, Taragadagadam, Takita Taka Jhanakutam, Taragadagadam, Taragadagadagada Jhanakutam, Taragadagadam, Taragadagadagada Jhanakutta, 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 Takita Taragadagadagada Jhanakutta, Takita Jhanakutta, Takita Taragadagadagada Jhanakutta, Takita Jhanakutta, Takita Jhanakutta, Takita Takka Dhikku Kiradagadagada, Takka Dhikku Kiradagadagada, Takka Dhikku Kiradagadagada.
Nandanatiko Nanda Gopa Priyatmajaga Devaki Nandana Shri
second half with Parulenna Mata Nammavaddu. After that, we moved on to Bhajan, Tumabina Mere Kaunaka Barale. I think one of the most intense pieces that was. And here we used a prop. The speciality of this item was that we used a prop, which was again master's idea. And it was drawn by Himabindu, another student of Sir. So it was this huge yellow cloth with the feather, Krishna's feather drawn on it. So it was arranged such that, you know, the whole bhajan goes when she's talking, Tumabina Mere Kaunaka Barale. So each time Krishna comes and keeps going. So she doesn't know whether it is the truth or whether it is the reality or not real, or is it her imagination. So each time when she imagines that Krishna is there, that prop would come down, the curtain would just go down, and it's as though Krishna is there. And the moment she turns the side and sees it's gone up, suggesting that Krishna is not there. So the piece ends with, you know, she uniting with Krishna, and I go and hug the curtain, and it was such an intense moment that I couldn't come out of it even after the music ended. It took me a while to get out of that mood. So it was one of my most closest to heart piece.
मुकुट पीतांबर सोहे, मोर मुकुट पीतांबर सोहे, मोर मुकुट पीतांबर सोहे, मोर मुकुट पीतांबर सोहे, कुंडल की कवि गोवर्धन गिरिधारी गिरिधारी, गोवर्धन गिरिधारी गिरिधारी, गोवर्धन गिरिधारी गिरिधारी, गोवर्धन गिरिधारी.
After the bhajan, I then performed the popular Javali, Era Rara. This was choreographed by Sandhya aunty. This piece has a special place in my heart. You know, my granny's favorite. In fact, after the Arangetram, she came and told me, of all the items you performed, this was the best. So even today when we sit and talk about my Arangetram, we talk about this item. So this item has a special place in my heart. After this, I performed Simhendra Madhyamatillana, followed by a Mangalam. whatever time my rehearsal was, be it early morning 5, I mean mostly it used to be early morning 6 o'clock, my rehearsals throughout my Arangetram days, Kiran sir would be there. On time he would step into the class, you know, fully ready for class, and his energy was so palpable that the whole environment would be sort of charged when he entered the class. So probably that is one most important thing that I have imbibed, and today I see to it that I am disciplined. So this is one of the most important lessons, probably I can call it life lesson, not only in my dance but wherever I see to it that I am on time. So for me personally, Arangetram played a huge role in my dance life. I can literally say before Arangetram days and after Arangetram days. You know, before Arangetram days, I still used to dance, I still used to enjoy dance, and I would forget the world when I danced. But Arangetram made me realize my strengths and my weaknesses, and you know, it made me understand my capabilities, and it brought me closer to my dance. So after Arangetram is exactly probably where I started focusing on the technique or on the aspects where I needed to improve myself, to make myself more presentable, and it taught me a lot. My endurance, it tested everything, and I think after Arangetram, the way I connected with dance, or the way my relationship with dance entirely changed, and it's been a beautiful journey.